Welcome to Spiritual Perspective. My name is Esther Masharia and Jesus Christ is Lord over my life. Today I want us to talk about the wilderness. What is the wilderness in the life of a believer? The wilderness is a region that is said to be uncultivated, uninhabited. It is a place that is not fit for human beings to live in. It is a dry place. It has no life in it. Nothing grows in it. This is a place that has dryness in it. When I talk about dryness, I talk about a place that has no hope, a place that has no life. We all know that at times you walk into a place and you see a cozy place, a cozy living room, a cozy bedroom, a cozy house. You can identify with comfort when you see it. But the wilderness has nothing of that, has nothing like comfort, has nothing like warmth, has nothing like coziness. It is a place where there is no life. We see that in the life of a believer, the wilderness is a place of preparation. It is a place where the Lord takes you to prepare you for the next level. It is a place of learning. It is a place that the Lord takes you in a school, and He takes you through lessons, and those lessons are the test. The more you learn, the more you get out of the wilderness speedily. And it is a place of intense experiences. You experience quite a bit. And those are the lessons that I'm talking about, where the Lord is teaching you. And through the teaching, He then now takes you to another level of testing you. You have learned this. Can you trust me? You have learned this. Can you give it to me now? Wilderness is not an easy time. It is a time where you go through intense pain, discouragement, and lack. You go without things that you valued for the glory and honor of God. The thing about the wilderness is that many people do not want to go there because it strips you of your glory if you have any. It strips you of honor and of your dignity if you had any. And when I talk about dignity here, I'm talking about the life that you lived, the prestige life that you live. It's all taken away from you. And you find yourself being at a place where you don't believe. You find yourself being in a place where you don't know what happened. You're wondering, what? Is it me? All of a sudden, I was here and now I'm on the other side, looking like I owned nothing at all because everything has been taken from you, and the Lord is taking you in the wilderness to have your moments with Him. So it is a place where God takes you through these intense experiences so that He can take you to your next level of your calling. It is usually a time where the Lord wants to teach you how to trust Him. That is what He did with the children of Israel. When He took them out of Egypt, He took them through a time of intense learning in the desert because He wanted to teach Him who He is. Remember, in Egypt, they never experienced Him as God, as Jehovah Jireh. They didn't have that freedom of worshiping God. And I remember Moses was telling Pharaoh, let my people go so that they may worship me. So in the desert, in the wilderness, it is where they learned how to worship God because God was revealing Himself to them in different ways. And that is the life of a believer. The Lord takes you to the wilderness, just like the children of Israel, so that He can teach you who He is. And you can find out, you can learn who He is in different ways according to your desert and your wilderness experiences. Remember, He taught Hagar that He is Jehovah El Roi, the one who sees, the one who sees me. And Hagar learned that in her wilderness moment. In the life of a believer, whenever you are in the wilderness, it is your moment and it is your time to learn who God is and for God to reveal Himself to you in His different names. It is in the desert, in the wilderness, that you will find out who God truly is. You will learn His different names. You will know Him as Jehovah Jireh. That is one of them. You will know Him as Jehovah Nissi. You will know Him in different names according to how you trust Him and according to your experiences with Him. The wilderness is also a time where the Lord teaches you total dependence on Him, that you depend on nothing else other than Him. He therefore sets you apart and strips you away of everything you ever owned. He takes away your titles, He takes away your wealth. He takes away everything, all your comfort, everything you ever owned, so that you can depend on him. And that is what he did with the Elijah. That is what he did with Job. You see, Elijah was a man who was serving God. And we know, the Bible doesn't tell us where Elijah was living. But when he went to the wilderness, I'm sure he had to let go of his house, his comfort, everything he owned. If Elijah had a horse, if he had a donkey, if he had a car in our days, he never took it to the wilderness with him. He went without all the things that he owned, because that's what the wilderness is about. When you look at the life of Job, what Job went through was a wilderness moment. And the Lord stripped him of everything he had. He was one of the wealthiest people in his time. And the Lord took away everything that he wanted, because he needed that intimate moment with Job for him to teach Job who he is. The Lord takes you to the wilderness and starts teaching you what he wants you to learn. Based on how quick you learn, your wilderness will be shorter. But based on your disobedience, and you not trusting in God, and you not learning fast enough, your wilderness could go for years. If you don't pass the test, the Lord is going to make sure that he makes you sit the same exam over and over again until you can get it. The wilderness moments expose you to the society. It exposes you to the people you do not want to know that you are going through such a phase. Remember Job's wife. Job's wife was telling him, curse God and die. This God is not worth it. And Job's friends were telling him the same thing. They were discouraging him. They were not there to encourage him. And the wilderness for a believer is going to be such a time where nobody is going to come and tell you, hold on to God. Your friends, your relatives, your family, they will come with all sort of ideas and all sort of ways in which to make your life better, and in which to lift you from the place that you are. Because to them, they don't understand that this is a wilderness. To them, it is a place that you are in that is not good. It is a time when God gives you the gift of pain. The gift of pain is a gift from God. God gives us that so that we can learn to say, like Job said, that though he slay me, yet I will trust in him. That's what Job said in the book of Job 13 and verse 15. When we look at the life of Elijah from the book of 1 Kings 17 and 1, this is the time Elijah was taken to the wilderness. And if you look at this story, it explains in detail what the wilderness is for a believer. We see that first Elijah goes to King Ahab and tells Ahab, it's not going to rain until I say so. So God had raised him. He's now a man who will say, it is not going to rain until I say so. See, he was at his peak. And that is what happens in the wilderness moment. They come at your peak. At a time where you've just been given recognition as the best employee. At the time where you just hit your jackpot moment in your career. And then you get sacked. You get laid off. That is what happened to Elijah. Immediately the Lord tells him, now, go to Kerith Ravine. You will drink from the brook, and I will send ravens to you. So the wilderness becomes about God. It's no longer about what you want, but it's about what God provides. So remember, Elijah had a home somewhere. He had a house, if not a home. And he had food that he ate, which was his preference. But God now decides, you're going to eat what the ravens bring, and you're going to drink from the brook. One of the secrets about the wilderness is that you have to be content with what the Lord brings. Elijah had to do with what the Lord was bringing and not what he wanted. So he ate the meat and drank the water from the brook. For the children of Israel, it was manna every day, without fail. So the wilderness is not about the menu that you have put on your fridge. It is about what God wants to give you. And that is one of the tests that is going to test you on. Can you trust me to provide what you will eat? Can you trust me to provide where you will stay? Can you trust me to provide with every need that you have? If you cannot, you will fail. Elijah passed the test, we see. And immediately Elijah left Kerith Ravine. He goes to the widow of Zarephath. And that is where he raised the first dead person in his life. The Bible doesn't tell us if he ever reached anybody else, but we see at a different level of elevation. And we also see that he had the Mount Carmel experience, where he called on fire from heaven, and the Lord came and consumed his sacrifice with fire. This was a different level because he passed the test. So in a nutshell, we look at the life of Elijah. If you read the book of 1 Kings 17, you will see the story of Elijah, what worked for him, what didn't work for him. And one of the things that we can learn from this story, and even from experiences, like from my experience, why we fail in the wilderness is because of three things. One, we fail because of not waiting upon the ravens. So you find yourself in a house, you don't have rent, it's end month, you need to pay the rent. Instead of waiting on God, you call somebody and you start asking for rent. That is a failure. And you will stay in the wilderness until you learn that God can send you money for rent through ravens. The Lord will provide for you according to what He wants you to have. He will provide the rent, He will provide the house, He will provide everything that you need if you let Him to. The other thing is we fail because of moving from Kerry thriving. As I said, people will come and tell you, you need to move. Go to another country, see whether things will work for you. Move from this area. People are moving you from where God has put you. There is no place that we're told that Elijah moved from Kerry thriving until the Lord told him, now get out of here because you have passed the test. You can go now. But you will stay in that wilderness moment, in the place of lack, in the place of pain, in the place of intense experiences, until you can learn to say, let God's will be done. Until you can learn to say, though He slay me, yet I will still trust in Him. The other thing that why people fail in the wilderness is refusing to suffer shame and pain and the discouragement. You want to live life as according to your ways, not according to God. You have to endure through it. You have to know what God has said in your life, and that which He said He will do. So in the wilderness, the Lord will reveal to you who He is. You will get to know Him in different names. Elijah knew Him as Jehovah Jireh, and you will also know Him. So whenever we fail in the wilderness, it means that we stagnate. We stay in one place of lack, in this place of nothing for years. So how long you stay in the wilderness depends on how fast you can learn and how fast you can obey. The only way to know God is to test Him too. Take Him at His word. What has the Lord said? Wilderness means that God is taking you to a different level. Remember, even Jesus, before He started His ministry, He was taken to the wilderness so that the Lord would prepare Him for what was ahead. So are you ready for that preparation? Are you ready for where the Lord is taking you? Are you ready to trust Him? Are you ready to trust God in lack for a period of time? The wilderness matures you as a believer. And if you're ready for growth, then be ready to get into the wilderness. I've been there. I've had my wilderness moments. And one of the things I can say is it's not easy. It's not. But the Lord brought 12 ravens in my life. And people would come into my life in ways that I did not expect. At first, I failed. I would call on people and ask for money. I would ask for things that I wanted. I would be disappointed in such a great way. And I would go crying back to the Lord. And the Lord would ask me, who sent you? Why did you go borrowing? Why did you go asking from people? Why couldn't you wait on me? And so I remember when I learned to wait on God, He surprised me. I remember there's a friend who was sent by God to my house when I didn't have a car and I needed to travel. And she came at 10 p.m. in the night. And she brought a car that was full tank and money. That's how God can surprise you. I saw God in a great and mighty way. So wilderness moments are real, but you have to learn to trust God and to wait on Him. That's it for now. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.